was on Facebook more, which is bizarre. I was just like, mind you, I only got family updates.
Audio Jungle.
All right. Hello, experts. Welcome back to another riveting episode
Of Experts About Nothing. Guys, we have probably the episode I'm most proud of because it actually took us 35 days to record this episode.
That's quite the build-up. As you can tell by the title, we did a little Instagram cleanse, but this is not a traditional Instagram cleanse where we delete the app off our phone, don't touch Instagram for 30 days. I've done that before and it was very difficult just because you're so used to seeing everyone's updates all the time. It was also during the pandemic, so I found it hard mainly because I was only in communication with a few people at the time. So I just felt very, very disconnected. But this was a more fun way, I would say, to disconnect. And I gotta say, this was 100% Precha's idea. I had zero intention of doing this.
A little backstory on my front, I literally do this every week. I try to go cold turkey with Instagram every single week. I'll delete the app off my phone.
She does it almost daily.
Almost daily. But it didn't really help my screen time because I would always delete it out of guilt after I had used it for a really, really long period of time.
And then you felt bad about it.
I felt bad and I was like, oh, I'm going to delete it and just get it off my phone, but then would re-download it the next day.
Yeah.
All right, but before we get into the deep dive of the topic, I have something even more pressing to discuss with you guys, and that is the pumpkin spice cold brew from Starbucks.
Listen, the thing is, we've told the people a million times about all the Starbucks drinks that we're obsessed with, and they know that we're such big stands, they need to sponsor us immediately.
I know. I mean, Starbucks, please sponsor me.
Literally, I got it today. And I got it on Friday. And I have 400 points. I maxed out my points.
They plays all the games that you
They're
get
not
points.
games. They're challenges that everyone gets. And they're always just oh, I'm going to go to Starbucks and use my points. But they don't do the challenges and they're missing out on points. And I get a free pastry every single time I go.
I know. She's really the one winning, but I think it's funny. Okay, so listen. I know the PSL has been on the radar for years. Years. Everyone loves pumpkin spice latte season. But I don't like the pumpkin spice latte. I never have.
Is it because you don't like pumpkin?
I do like pumpkin. I like pumpkin pie. I will eat a pumpkin pie. You know what I mean? I'm excited about it. But the PSL, for some reason...
Is it too sweet for you?
It's a little too sweet.
Yeah.
And it's too much. I can drink maybe a fourth of it and then I'm oh my God, I can't drink this anymore. But I was on vacation and I saw that the fall drinks had come out and I was feeling a little crazy and I was let me try the pumpkin spice cold brew. Also, fun fact, cold brew is the least acidic type of coffee you can drink.
Who would have thought?
But it's just brewed for a really long time, so there's less acid in it, and me with my stomach issues, I'm please say less, I'll get a cold brew. But with a splash of oat milk, that's a big, asterisk I need to add. And I was just having the best time. I was drinking it, big smile on my face, walking around. I thought it was life-changing. Came back to New York, told everyone that they need to get this immediately. My thought is it's amazing, and I will get this every week until it goes off the menu.
Okay, so then I got it on Friday because Priya was raving about it, and then my roommate started raving about it, so then I was okay, I need to try it for myself. So I tried it. Love the foam. I didn't get with oat milk in it, which maybe could change my vibe with it. I just think it's very, very caffeinated for me.
It's so caffeinated. Yeah. I mean, you got a grande,
I did get a grande, yeah.
I only ever get a tall, and I'm the cold brew is going to do what it needs to do. It will
wake you up.
It will get you so wired.
Half, or maybe even a fourth, and I was whoa, I'm already feeling crazy.
But I think if you dilute it with the oat milk, that helps.
Yeah.
I don't know, and just get a tall, and you'll live your best life.
Yeah, and it's cheaper. It's cheaper than the other ones, which is cool. Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. I liked it, and obviously I don't have decaf cold brew, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Actually, they definitely could make decaf cold brew.
It's just decaf.
It would just be decaf beans. Yeah. So you should ask. There might be an option.
Yeah, I will ask, but that's fun. I have an update, one that's not on the outline.
Oh my gosh.
Guys, I have nails now. And
yeah.
It's crazy. Actually, this is the longest my nails have ever been. Ashi is my new manicurist. Every week she loves doing my nails and I'm oh my God, please. It's amazing. But yeah, I've just been trying to grow them out. I feel like I've just never really given it a true try. And this time I'm you know what? I'm kind of stressed, but also whatever, stress ain't gonna stop. So I need to just start doing it and start figuring out other ways to. Mind you, I still play with my nails and I still like pick at them.
Yeah.
But I like how they look. So I'm just trying to like get to the 2-month mark, and then I feel like I won't even have to think about it. Like it doesn't have to be
It'll become
conscious decision to not.
Yeah.
I just won't. So yeah, but until then I've been treating myself. I've been buying myself a new nail polish here or there. And it's been fun.
That's fun.
Last time I went to Target with Usher, I bought a pink one.
Ooh.
Loved it. I wore the fun color for my first batch, which is my other... Okay, it's not my first batch. I went to my family friend's bachelorette right out of college. I just turned 22, basically. And mind you, she is 5 years older than me. So that was, like, a crazy experience because it was like, whoa, I am not even close to marriage. And, like, I don't have any friends that have been through anything like that, so I was like, whoa, this is like such a new world. And it's crazy because I think now the conversations that, you know, some of the girls were like were having then are the conversations we have now all the time. And back then I was so taken by those convos. It was like they were talking about kids here or there, and they were talking about moving places with their significant other. Far out for me. But it was crazy because this trip was for one of my best college friends, one of my college roommates, and it was so fun. I also like went with a group of girls that I honestly haven't really seen or connected with since college, and that was awesome. We went to Miami. It was a great time. Like, honestly, it's really fun to make your friends feel so loved and celebrated. It's not just like a one-night birthday party where there's like hundreds of people or like anything like that. It's just kind of like an intimate group of people, and like the whole purpose of it is to celebrate someone. I think that's just a really fun concept because it's also like a once-in-a-lifetime thing. They're about to go through such like a big transitional stage in their life. It's like, wow, like it's like an honor to be there. But it was such a great time, and honestly it makes me more revved up for all the fun batch trips to come. So yeah, really good Labor Day weekend.
I know, that looked so much fun. I was like, wow. It always just hits different when it's your friend group or like your friends
your
who are,
friend,
you know, this is happening for them. Because I feel like we've spent so much time seeing family or like the years above us do these trips, and now it's like our squad
turn.
of people starting to do them, which is crazy. Yeah, during Labor Day, I went on a beautiful trip to Banff with my parents.
Which was also so stunning.
Which was so stunning. And it honestly was one of the best trips I've ever been on, which is crazy. I know it's always like, oh, you went on a trip with your parents. And I'm an only child, so it's literally just me and my parents. I think this trip specifically felt so different than the other ones just because it just felt like 3 adults going on a trip. I had set my expectations of this is a trip my parents have wanted to go on for so long. So I wanted to just kind of like let them have the experiences that they wanted to have. I really didn't like plan anything out or like have things that I wanted to do. And I think luckily over time I've developed my like interest in nature as well. Like I used to go on these nature trips and literally hate it and be like such a brat on them.
I feel like you were a lot younger for those trips.
I was a lot younger, so I like did not appreciate anything I was seeing. But this trip was so beautiful, and I'm like really just glad that I got to experience it with my parents. And yeah, it honestly revitalized me, if I'm being honest. I was doing so much travel this summer, but I just felt like I was like scrambling around. My mind was in like 50 different places. And also when you're in these national parks, you have no service. So I was just actually disconnected from everything for so long. Like took a full week off of work. I just felt my mind quiet down, and I came back feeling a lot more refreshed and more stable, which, you know, love that. But yeah, it was I think we had a good, successful Labor Day weekend, and now it's literally fall.
I'm shook that it's September. I can't believe summer's over. Mind you, it doesn't feel like summer's over yet, which I'm glad, because I feel like the worst months of the summer are done, like the hottest, most miserable months are done. So now it's like the weather's just later 70s, early 80s. It's like more doable weather.
It's less like you walk out and you're like, God, I need to go indoors immediately. But yeah, it feels good. I don't want it to cool down too quick, but I'm happy with this current weather and hope it stays for a little while. Yeah,
I'm excited that we're going to be here for the next few weekends of September.
Yeah.
And we'll just have some time here, which is really good. And me and Priya have not been in the same place for a month now. We've basically only had a couple days overlap, and it's like one person or the other is planning for their next trip. That kind of leads into a couple of things about how, one, we had a full strategy meet today, and we know our podcast has not been consistent.
We did a retrospective, everyone.
Yeah, we did a retro. We do miss posting every week, and our main goal for the fall is to make sure that we put out content as much as we want again, which is every single week, every Monday, and get back to the grind.
So look forward to that, and we are too.
Yep. Okay, let's dive in to our topic.
Okay, so we hinted at it in the beginning. We had an Insta detox. The ground rules for this detox was no personal Instagram on our phones other than 1 hour a week. So we were basically allowed to have Instagram on our phones to have the Experts About Nothing account because we wanted to post stories and like our content for the pod.
And I felt like for the first 2 weeks, we didn't even have really experts accounts
Yeah.
on our personal phones.
Yeah.
We mainly downloaded the first time when we were ready to post an episode and we wanted
Yep.
to promo the episode.
Exactly. We didn't have like our normal personal Instagrams on there other than 1 hour a week if we wanted to like post something or like do a deep dive for 1 hour, which we allowed for ourselves.
Yeah.
And we allowed ourselves to use Instagram on our desktops, which I know people might think is a cop-out, but if you've ever used the desktop version of Instagram, you'll understand why it's not.
It's beat.
It's bad.
And it's like really annoying to look through stories. It's kind of annoying to look through anything.
Yeah.
It's so much harder clicking than tapping. And it just makes the whole process irritating. Also because like you can't like switch around to like different people's stories as fast. So you're kind of like, I honestly just would watch like the first like maybe 10 stories.
And then be like,
I'm done.
I
don't care.
I feel like for me, what I would do is just go straight into the DMs, be like, okay, what do I need to catch up on from my DMs? I would look through a couple of stories, and then if I had heard through the grapevine that like someone posted something or like something big had happened within my Instagram circle, I would just like search up that person and take a look at like
what we need to see.
Content is. Yeah.
I also felt like the Insta on our desktops was great because it would just give me more incentive to focus when I'm working. Like, literally when I'm doing my 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
I would pick up my phone, like, in the beginning, and then I'd be like, well, I can't do anything on this, really. And then I just, like, put it down. Like, check my email or something instead of, like, checking my Instagram. And obviously, there's nothing riveting in my email. So then I just, like, put it away. And it'd be, like, so much faster of a turnaround. It'd be, like, check my text really quick and then check my email. And then I would put it away.
Put it away, yeah. Yeah, same here. I will say the biggest con for me is that, unfortunately, my Instagram detox happened during my TikTok
come up,
literally. So I was on TikTok quite a bit, and I noticed how much I was on it. And then I think the fact that we didn't have Instagram on our phones and we were doing this entire detox made me also more aware of how much time I was spending on TikTok. So I think after like the first week of me being on TikTok a lot, as like a cop out for not being on Instagram, I was like, okay, we also need to like limit that. I feel like TikTok, there's a lot of rep for TikTok having like the most addictive algorithm and all these different things. But for some reason, it just doesn't make me feel as bad when I get off TikTok. Like, I think mainly because my friends don't post a lot of TikTok content. And like, you know, XYZs that you know don't post a lot of TikTok content. So it's literally just random people that you watch. And for some reason, that's just less like it doesn't make me compare myself to people because it's not like I'm looking at like my peers. I'm looking at some random person. My TikTok's like food talk, random, funny things. And it just feels more lighthearted. After I do an Instagram deep dive, I usually end up being like, oh my God, 7 more people that I know through some association got engaged, and like this person's getting their MBA, and this person, like, you're just like, holy shit. You just see like an onslaught of everyone living their best lives. And it seems way more like personal to you than some random stuff on TikTok.
No, I agree. So basically, Priya would send me 1 million, I'm not kidding, 1 million TikTok DMs. Which I don't even see. Even if she messaged me them, at least I'd have a higher chance of like seeing the thumbnail and clicking on it. Priya be sending me all this shit on DMs in TikToks, and I'm like, I don't check my TikTok DMs. I just haven't been on TikTok like Priya. But then after she was like, oh, I'm using TikTok a lot, then I started like venturing in, and I do use it when I feel like a deeper itch, and I'm like, I want to see some content, but it's like I'm tired of YouTube. I don't have like Netflix shows to watch or something. Then I like go on TikTok, and it's been great. Like, it's hilarious, and like you said, not people that we know for the most part. Sometimes there are. Sometimes our friends post random videos. Which is interesting to watch, but still, you're not like bogged by that stuff. It's just like one here or there, and then you have the content that just interests you. Which I love, and like I've been on hair TikTok a lot because that's my main hair hawk. I did not know about that. It's called that. But I've just been on that more because I'm in a phase where I'm trying to figure out my hair health routine. I don't know. I feel like it's more fun to do research on
TikTok
TikTok.
is great for research.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like in terms of food stuff, beauty things,
Fashion, like,
all
yeah.
of that, I love learning about it through TikTok for some reason. It's great.
It's like easier than YouTube because I feel like the population also is just like closer in age almost. Like I feel like YouTube, fashion and like skincare and stuff, sometimes it's like hard to get specifically your age group and stuff like that. But TikTok just knows.
They know.
They know what
scary,
you need.
but...
And frankly, I appreciate it because I'm like, great, less sifting, more like learning. I don't know. Weird.
Yeah, but we just went into why we're addicted to another social media. But anyway.
But why it might be less toxic.
It might be less toxic for us. So I think the origination behind why we even wanted to get rid of Instagram on our phones was, at least personally for me, I was just getting to the point where I was straight up, like all the buzzwords, doom scrolling, reverse bedtime procrastination, like all of that, I was doing to the max, and I was very self-aware of the fact that I was doing them, but like could not stop. At night, I would just be so tired, and I know should be going to sleep or should try to like read a little bit before bed, but I would just get on Instagram and be sucked into a void and sleep later than I wanted to, and also feel like mentally not as good because I just consumed so much random content that I probably didn't need to see. And especially in the summer, it felt like such an onslaught of watching everyone live their best lives, which I think we've talked about this like a million times, but it just takes a toll on you.
The thing is, I think something that we easily forget when we're just on these doom scrolling binges or anything like that when we're on Instagram is that we are also low-key living our best lives.
Yeah.
And we forget that we are also having an amazing time and like have so many activities and like things planned for ourselves, and we just are so focused on what all these other people are doing that it's like we have less appreciation for like what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I think that was something that I clearly noticed. We started this August 4th, right? And we had already done so much. May, June, July, we did so much stuff.
Yeah.
That I was like, wow, like why do I even care? Like,
Yeah.
I did a million things this summer, and I had, like I said in the last episode, one of the best summers of my life by far, just because I saw so many people I loved. I spent so much time with so many people I loved. People I haven't seen in a while too, I've spent time with, and I'm like, I have no reason to even feel bad about my summer because I did so many things I never did before. But yeah, like you said, it's so easy to be like, oh, this person's having European summer, and so is this person, so is this person, and this person got engaged, and so is this person, so is this person, and then it's like, whoa, like, what are we even comparing at this point? Yeah.
I know, yeah, you just always feel like you're at a loss at a certain point, and it was just getting so addictive and so, I don't know, like a cycle of negativity.
Yeah.
And so I really felt like I needed to make a drastic change. Like, I'm just like on this app way too much, and it is making my whole vibe more negative internally.
One of the main reasons I immediately said yes when you were like, oh, I'm on an Instagram detox, and I was like, oh, I'm doing it too, is mainly because I was in like a period of work where I had a lot of work, and I was like, I really need to get all this done. I felt myself getting distracted more and more easily because the app was just on the phone ready to access. Specifically those few days that we were like talking about this, I was like, hell yeah, because I needed to focus.
Yep.
I felt like since I got it off my phone day to day, I've just been way more focused at work. Felt like I've just been getting a lot more done, more proactive, been able to go into the office a little bit more. My brain was just clearer when I was working, which I loved. I thought that was like one of the biggest benefits that I saw doing this.
Agreed. Yeah, it made me so much more focused at work, or like whatever task I was doing, I was just less distracted once I got it off my phone, and I felt like I was able to prioritize things better in my day. Ultimately, it just really decluttered my mind. That was the main intention of like removing the app from the phone.
So we can talk about some of our challenges really quick. I think we touched on a couple of them already. Like pre-mentioned, her thing was a little bit more on talk. I was on Facebook more, which is bizarre. I was just like, let me see what's going on Facebook. Mind you, I only got family updates, and I was like, this is beat. But if I felt the need to scroll, I'd scroll for a little bit. Then I'd be like, why am I on Facebook?
Yeah.
And then I'd like get off. So that kind of settled my itch a little bit. Something that you mentioned was missing important things occasionally.
Yeah, I did notice that, like, I don't know, you get all of your information through Instagram, like birthdays, engagements.
Especially from like people that aren't in your immediate circle.
Yeah,
right?
people you don't text text a lot or are not in your daily rotation, you get through Instagram. And so a couple times, like midday, someone would be like, oh, did you
see this?
Did you see this?
Yeah.
Or like, did you wish this person? And I'll be like, oh my God, I didn't do it. And then I would have to like, you know, text them personally or like go on Instagram.
Be a friend and remind your friends when there's important people that you all know, birthdays and milestones, events. Definitely do that because multiple of my friends have thanked me for reminding them.
Yeah.
So.
I think it's hard to keep track of like a million different things.
Yeah.
And so if you remember something, you could just hit up your close friends and be like, make sure you do this today.
Yes.
I did make some of the people in my close circle, my friends and family, send me their Instagram post screenshotted.
Yeah.
Which is the post. I would ask people to tell me when they posted, so I would go on the desktop and make sure I do my normal hype up for my homies. Like, I will do that. But for the stories, I was like, please screenshot your own story and send them my way.
Or Priya and I would do that for like important events. If someone was like, "Did you see this on Instagram?" We'd just be like, "Screenshot the thing, send it over."
Send it over. And we did get special treatment, and I think that that's fine.
So if your friends try to do this and they just need to see one or two things here or there, just send them the important shit.
Yeah, just give them the highlights.
Yeah, because honestly, that also just helps because then they don't just see other things they don't want to see.
Yeah,
you know?
you just like got the main thing, and you could text that person if you want to, like, congrats or whatever.
Now I think we can just kind of take it home with some takeaways that we had, which I think we've also been kind of integrating into this conversation.
Yes, we have. The biggest one for me is I realized how much less self-critical I am once I got my personal Instagram off the phone or was like limiting the use of it. That's the most toxic thing I think I get from Instagram is I will like somehow see someone else's great thing that's happening in their life and turn it into why I'm not capable of doing that thing or something. Instead of being self-critical, I feel like now it's not like the things in my life that I don't want anymore. I just think about them in a different way. Like I've been thinking about them in a different way, more optimistically, more like how can I actually get this thing that I want, or like what habits can I develop to like
more proactively. Yeah, less,
more proactive.
Like, degrading.
Yeah, it's been like a good mindset shift. I'm also not as bogged down with my insecurities. Obviously, you still have moments of like, oh, I feel not great about something, but it's just less frequent that I have those self-despair spirals, which has been great.
Yeah, I completely second that. I think for me, mainly, I have a problem with comparison. I think my thing is that it kind of just like sticks in my head, and then I just feel down about myself about why I don't live a certain way, or like why I don't prioritize certain things in my life a little bit more, or like enjoy certain aspects of my life a little bit more, and I just am like more focused on what I don't have.
Yeah.
When I get to that point, it takes more to come back to reality and like come back to appreciating the stuff I have. I definitely was more, first of all, present with the stuff that I was doing. For example, didn't have Instagram downloaded on my phone during my friend's bachelorette, and downloaded my personal Instagram to post on my way to the airport on my separate flight, like after I said goodbye.
Yeah.
And I felt so good. I made all these memories. I wasn't like focused on posting when I'm in the moment, you know, gave my recap after, and I like was like, wow, I had a great weekend.
Yeah.
And like I felt like I truly enjoyed every moment of it. The whole thing just felt more relaxed.
Rolled. Yeah, I know. I love doing that, and I was doing that even when I had Instagram on my phone because I just hated you're all sitting at a dinner and everyone's like on their phone trying to like post something, and you're just losing time at the dinner because you're all like focused on your
or, like,
Instagram
you're
story.
In nature, and like you're not only focused on like taking the content, but then figuring out the right caption, tagging people, like all that stupid stuff. Like I don't know, it just takes a lot of time. It's not stupid. It takes like, a lot of time in the moment.
Takes away from that. Yeah.
And I just feel like getting the video content or getting the photo so much faster, and it's fun. Like, you know, taking pics, like getting stills, they're fun, like with your friends.
Definitely didn't limit the amount of photos I took or something. I like when I was on my vacation, I was still capturing everything I want to capture, but then as you said, I would just like download it randomly and like post what I want and then delete it, and it was great.
In general, you know how like when you post like this doesn't really happen for me with stories, but like when you post like posts and stuff, you like constantly go back to the app and
you're like checking. Yeah, I totally didn't do that.
Yeah.
I did, so I posted like a post on my feed.
Yeah.
And then I just deleted the app.
Yeah. And
it
like
was
you
great.
Actually don't think about it. Like, and I feel like we posted like kind of later into our Instagram detox. Like we both posted on I think the same day or a day apart.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like I feel like because I was so deep into the detox, once I like deleted it, I was like, okay, gone.
Yeah,
And I
didn't
just
think
didn't
about
pay
it.
attention. I didn't check on it. I would check on it I'd only remember when I was on my desktop version. And then I was
Be
like,
like, oh yeah, let me
right, I
look.
posted that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it made me feel so much better. I wasn't like clocking how many likes I got and like, you know, just dumb things
Looking
that you
at comments,
do.
like, it wasn't that
It
important.
wasn't great. It's like I shared something and now whatever. I'm not going to think about it anymore. And then you come back and you're like, oh, these people liked it. Great.
Which
whatever.
I think was the initial purpose of Instagram to begin with. Like, it was just to connect with your friends and like share some of the joyous moments of your life.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I liked how it was kind of getting back to that, like what it was originally, not like
now.
And then along with that, something that kind of ties is just I had fewer random spurts of anxiety a couple times a month. It just all kind of like comes together, like with work, with life and everything. And I just feel really bogged down. And I feel like during those times I'm most vulnerable with social media as well. Mm-hmm. And I kind of just let it affect me more than it should. Something I also realized is like I would wake up in the morning and I would like spend an hour on Instagram is a long time. And I don't think we ever really notice when it's like throughout the day we're scrolling a little bit, 15 minutes here or there.
Yeah.
But in the morning, in one chunk of time, that is a long time.
Yeah.
And I would like wake up at 8 and suddenly it's 9. And I'm like, what did I do for an hour? I could have been at my laptop by now, but now I'm just crawling out of bed.
Yeah.
And it's just not a good feeling at all. And I just felt like I was just way more in touch with my mornings and like doing my morning routine more. Washing my face, doing my skincare, making myself a real ass meal, making myself a smoothie. I feel like those things were just more consistent, which I loved.
I too, the morning scroll, I like really cut down on that. I did sometimes do a morning TikTok scroll, but I would shorten it, not as like long as I normally do it. Oh yeah, and something that I feel like I did a lot more without having Instagram is just read, which was great. Like I have my Kindle now right next to my bed, so instead of reaching for my phone, I'll reach for my Kindle.
Priya's a reader.
I became a mild reader.
Priya has been literally chomping through these books and she's like, guys, have you read this? Guys, have you read that? And I'm like, oh no, I'm not in my reader phase yet.
I think it just like helped. Like I do want to look at something first thing in the morning to help wake myself up.
Yeah.
I think I like that activity, but when it's something as addictive as social media, you know, it drains you.
Yeah.
Versus like, oh, I'm just gonna like read like 10 pages of my book and then I feel more awake and I can get out of bed. So that's been nice.
And one thing that I remember you mentioned like a while ago about TikTok that I found was like super interesting and I was like, wow, that could actually help, was how if you're having a hard day getting to the gym, you watch gym TikToks.
Oh yeah.
And it gets you out of bed because you're like, okay, time to get it. After that, and I'm like, wow, maybe I should watch like a skincare TikTok if I ever feel like I don't want to wash my face at night or something.
Yeah.
And then it'll just get me inspired to do it. I don't
No,
know.
it's so nice. Like that's why I feel like TikTok's impact on my life is like way like more positive than Instagram. I don't think it's fully positive.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, it does. LOL. There's some blending going on, so I can hear that in the background. But that actually does get me out of bed a lot of times. Seeing the gym TikTok or like right now I'm on Book Talk, so I'll like save a bunch of things that I want to read or like save recipes that I want to make, and so it just feels like a little bit, I don't know, yeah, it does like kind of inspire you to do the things that you want to do when you see other people doing them, which is nice. I also have been able to watch the shows that I want to watch. I don't know if that's like a huge benefit, but I was noticing that I was spending so many nights just on Instagram, and like I would go into bed at like 9 and be like, oh, I watch a show until 10, and then I would be on Instagram for an hour and it would be 10 and I'd be like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna like go to sleep. But now that I don't have it, I'm like, great, I can get through my shows.
Yeah.
It feels better than being on like your phone.
Yeah, because at least it's something engaging a little bit, you know, and less toxic. Like, I don't know, watching a show is like...
It's like fun.
It's like an actual detox versus like social media, which is not relaxing. That's cool. I mean, use TikTok to get you out of bed. Love it.
I know. Very interesting advice.
I mean, that's literally not our actual direct advice, but just you use it as inspiration if it helps you in some format. And something I realized is that after we started posting on Pod account, I don't know, I just felt like I was more connected to growing Pod and just like getting more inspiration from the podcast account, just because on our podcast account, we don't follow our friends. We follow accounts that inspire us, related content. Like related content specifically to our podcast. And just like really does inspire me more on the podcast front, what we could talk about, what people would find interesting. I just found like having that on my phone and like having that as my scroll would be a lot more productive than having maybe direct connections on that account, you know?
Yeah.
That led, like, in terms of results from that, I just felt like that led to us actually reaching out to some of our friends and acquaintances to actually be guests on our podcast and, like, think more in, like, expansion realm. I feel much better about the way podcast is going and, like, how we've been growing and how we can further grow. And I just like a lot more inspiration that brings.
Yeah, I agree. It was like, it's just like a different feed of things that you're looking at. So that was nice. And I think we got a lot of like pod ideas, honestly, from like this month of just looking at that type of content. All right. So the question of the hour, do you think this is something you're going to stick with?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think that's a very easy yes, because I don't know, I just feel more at ease in day to day. And I think I have more time to give to my friendships, to my relationships, to generally the hobbies that I want to look into, feel more at peace with my life. So I want to continue feeling like that.
Absolutely. Same. I think I'm going to definitely keep this going. I don't know. I love not going cold turkey. This is the exact amount of like Instagram that I want.
Yeah.
You know? So it just feels like I'm not completely disconnected. I get to like use it when I want to post or like when I want to check in on friends, but it's not something that feels like uncontrollable, which having the app on my phone definitely feels like that sometimes. I'm like, I am just addicted and I'm stuck in this cycle. So it doesn't feel as unhealthy like that.
It's like really hard when you use something every single day and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, I can't see anything or like do anything related to this. When I did that the first time, I was kind of itching for it. And then once I hit the 30-day mark, I was like, okay, I did it.
Yeah, and then you completely revert.
It's so easy. And I think this is just a much more sustainable way to limit your time without fully being like, I am out of touch with this world. Like, you know what I mean? And everyone is curious, like, what their friends are up to, what their connections are up to. So it's, like, a very normal thing to, like, be addicted to these apps in a way.
Yeah.
It's, like, the way you expose yourself to it. Almost train yourself to, like, be addicted to it in a healthy way.
Yeah. Okay, great. That kind of wraps it up on the topic of the day. Do you have a favorite?
Favorite item that you bought this month?
Oh. I'm trying to think of everything I bought this month, which is too many things. Do you have one? Shoot.
I didn't actually buy it. I got it as a gift, but I'm obsessed with it.
Oh,
This
I know.
perfume that I got. It's called Juliet Has a Gun. Never heard of this brand before, but it's Juliet Has a Gun, not a perfume specifically. Apparently there's like different lines of this brand, but it has one ingredient. Couldn't tell you what the ingredient was. It's awesome because it smells freaking amazing, and if you put it on your skin, on every single person, it smells a little bit different because it interacts with your pheromones, this and that, but it smells phenomenal, very long lasting, and it's one of those when someone walks by you on the street, you smell like a boss-ass bitch, and it's like, whoa, who smells like that? And it's like a head-turner perfume. I don't know. I think it's a head-turner
incredible.
perfume.
Yeah, it smells really good.
I kind of gravitate towards like the safer floral scents, but this just smells different.
Yeah.
And I don't really know how to describe it, but I love it, and I think it's like one of my new favorite things. And I could definitely see it being a repurchase. I haven't loved a perfume like this in a while.
Yeah. Okay. I have mine now. Mine's kind of boring compared to that, but I always struggle with workout tops. The tank top doesn't really I don't feel that comfortable in them, and they're either too long, too short. I don't know. Like, I'm just not a fan of things that I find. But I got this Basics 4 set of dry fit t-shirts from Amazon.
Oh.
And
you didn't tell me about this.
Yeah, I got them right before I went on my trip, and they're just like the perfect length for me. They're not like cropped, but they're like not long, so it's like just that t-shirt length. They just are really comfortable, and I've like been wearing them when I work out or like through all the hikes that I did on my trip, and they're great. Solid purchase, random purchase. That was my purchase of the month.
Iconic. What a fun, efficient episode.
Yeah, I hope this inspired you guys to maybe reevaluate your Instagram life if it's been bothering you.
And to encourage your Instagram life, please follow us on Instagram at expertsaboutnothing. We'd love to hear from you.
Promise we won't post things that'll make you sad. Bye!
Bye. See you guys next week. Promise.